have Dr. Jen. Dr. Jen is the coordinator of school-based mental health. She is my colleague. She sits right next to me. She is my buddy. She keeps me sane throughout the day. And I am so happy that she is here today to share this Managing Your Wandering Mind piece. So it was with great honor that I present to you Dr. Jen.
Dina, you are so sweet. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you so much for that introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and hope that this shares in the way that I've practiced with Dina a few times to make sure that I'm sharing this correctly. All right, so everybody can see my title page here, my Managing Your Wandering Mind.
Yep.
All right, great. Awesome. So this is a topic that's actually near and dear to my heart because I come from a genetic line of an individual, my mother, who is just Miss Scatterbrain all over the place, can't get anywhere on time. And when you look around at my desk, where my desk area is, you can see that I am a piles person and have had some struggles in this area. However, we're all a work in progress. And so these are really some examples of tips and information that I've put to work that I hope that you can walk away with. If it's only one thing that you're able to use today, that you walk away with something that helps you to manage your day-to-day struggles with all of the interruptions that you have throughout the day. They're innumerous, and some of them take priority over others. So the objectives today are really to talk about what is mind wandering, what is the impact, what can you do to change it. So we'll briefly talk about struggles related to multitasking, the impacts, and how you can adapt with small changes that have long-term effects. Think of mind wandering for the purpose of this time as it relates to those intrusive thoughts and distractions through the day that create a time loss and frustration, a lot of frustration related to feeling like you just did not accomplish what you had hoped to accomplish through the day. And oftentimes when we have that feeling, we tend to be catastrophic and really lose sight of having compassion for ourselves. And we don't have compassion for ourselves or others. So when mind wandering is negatively impacting us, we really struggle to see the forest through the trees. We don't know how to prioritize tasks, and we can't appreciate our accomplishments. So this kind of scatterbrained looking house is what resonates with me about not knowing where to begin with a task or with a situation that comes my way. This is far more pleasant, and practicing improving on focus allows for objectivity and ability to make wise decisions. And it allows us to reflect on accomplishments while being able to create some future goals. We're always goal-oriented. That's kind of in our nature. So like this example of a garden with a lot going on, but you can still see that there's parts that need attention, but not the entire thing, not all at one time. And you can see that there's kind of a spot for everything and where it fits. This is a silly question, but honestly, how many of you feel like you spend your day just spinning your wheels, losing track of what you want to get done, and feeling like at the end of the day, it comes and you just kind of feel defeated, right? We have those days. Hopefully it's not every day, but we have those days. And I know as we get more toward the end of the year, it kind of comes along a little more frequently. When there's brain fog, we really struggle to find the words and the resources. We kind of feel like we get caught in the middle of a situation. We don't know how to respond. Even though we have the information in our brain, we can't get it out of our mouths. And when we're scatterbrained, we lose track of what we were doing, what we were talking about. This happens to my mom all of the time. And this can really result in feeling pretty negative about ourselves and about others and our overall purpose and what we're doing when we come to work, when we go to the store, when we're socializing with other people that we care about, right? But it isn't all bad. Your wandering mind has a place in your life. It's really important to acknowledge that. It helps you to plan for fun and creative stuff and to create goals in your life. Your wandering mind allows you the opportunity to be your own individual and also to grow as an individual. And when you have the extra time you saved by having increased focus and concentration and getting what you need to get done, you actually have more ability to brainstorm and to create positive solutions to problems. This quote just has resonated with me ever since I found it. This is really why this is so near and dear to my heart. This is an everyday struggle. So what is wrong with that wandering mind? Sadly, most wandering minds really are unfocused, or they focus on catastrophizing, negativity. It's really easy to lose sight of our goals when our minds are unfocused. And as you can see, people spend nearly 47% of their waking hours with their minds wondering. How much catastrophe and negative energy can come from that, right? So what is mind wandering? Well, like I said, our genetics and our habits can really affect how we prioritize our day-to-day tasks. Think of all the times that you started folding laundry with the intention of putting it away, but the second you walk out the room, you begin a new project like organizing your bathroom counter, then trying on an old outfit to see if you like it. And now you're hungry for the Doritos you bought at the store yesterday. So maybe you should eat a sandwich. Then you walk into the living room and you find that pile of laundry you started folding 3 hours ago. Better yet, when you get to work on time with the best of intentions, and from one moment to the next, there's a new issue, an unstaffed classroom, an upset parent, evaluations are due, then there's a student in crisis, which is just the icing on the cake to deter you from all the plans that you had for accomplishing today, anything that you needed to accomplish today, right? If you take anything away from this talk today, take away the ability to view each adverse situation objectively, compassionately, and especially with the goal to handle each situation in a way that you can reflect on at the end of the day and feel confident about the way you handled it. It's really about how you lie your head down at night and feel about how you handled all these situations in your day and how you feel about yourself. So my story is really related to feeling like just because someone has a concern, and this is kind of my little tag thing is my little story time that I do. So, but just because somebody has a concern, I always feel like I should be able to solve their problem at that moment, like a crisis, right? And I feel a lot of calls through the day at my desk. I even joke that I am a call center for mental health sometimes through the day. Anyway, I am not a good multitasker, as I've already disclosed, and I own that. So when I'm working on an assignment, a report, whatever, and I get a crisis call, because there are days that I cover crisis, I know that I have to reprioritize my plan for the day. Crisis is the priority. It's the number one thing, and it's frustrating, but there's a little trick I do, and it's called cognitive reframing. Basically, I know that a crisis means multiple people are scrambling to keep a student safe. They are way more distressed than I am. And my assignment will be right here where I left it when I get back to my office. So this happened all the time over at the TIS program, the Therapeutic Intervention for School Success program, when I was the clinician over there. We'd basically be preparing to hold an IEP for a student, but then of course another student would be eloping from the campus, or our classroom would be evacuated due to another disruptive student. So reframing from, oh my God, this is a disaster, thinking, right, to, well, looks like I will be missing part of the IEP to support my team, makes all the difference in being able to manage my own emotions as well as modeling or regulating for the other students and the staff that I'm working with. So what happens when we're able to increase focus of our thoughts with the increased productivity, feeling accomplished? When we're less reactive, we have improvement of compassionate and thoughtful responses to others, and feeling successful in problem solving really lends to feeling purposeful and a decreased sense of burnout and compassion fatigue. So this is the time of year when we start to experience compassion fatigue and burnout, that sense of dread, that sense of not really having a whole lot more to give to the people that need us, to the people that we're present for, and even for ourselves. So we really need to be able to generate the compassion to allow us to be present for ourselves and for other people. And then there's the psychological impact. Think on this, we know this. Continued struggles to manage our time and our thoughts affect our mental health and our physical health. Rumination impacts our sleep, our digestive systems, not to mention the resulting toll on interpersonal relationships. So rumination is that really negative feeling that we tend to go over and over and over in our heads when we've had kind of a negative interaction with somebody. Happens all the time with people on social media. So literally the last time I had an uncomfortable encounter at work, all I could focus on was what I should have, could have done differently with the other party. And I personally lost sleep. I'm one of those people who loses their appetite. So lost some weight, definitely lost some confidence. But then I considered the source of the encounter and used my empathic reasoning, right, to be able to see the situation from other perspectives, and really being able to see where other people are coming from really helped to stop the rumination and eventually allowed interactions that were more restorative, goal-oriented for all of us, because we're all working towards the same goal of being present for our students, but being present for our team as well, right? So what can you do? This is where we need to know, what do we do to get there? It's really about training and conditioning our focus. And this isn't something that happens overnight. We're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness practices. This doesn't just happen. This is about practice and training our brain. And it isn't something you just tell yourself one day is going to happen. You have to practice. But some of the tools are to be able to create a physical list, which provides a physical prompt of your plan for the day. It's a reference tool that you can use and structure up your priorities. Creating that list with pen and paper really helps to make it concrete. If you're creating the list with your phone or your computer, it offers way too many distractions, and that can interrupt your plan. It's too easy to get distracted, to click, to scroll, check email, news, social media, blah, 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 which just totally sucks our time. And also practicing paying attention to when you get distracted, catching yourself and saying, oh, I got off track, and bringing yourself to your scheduled task, to the task that you wanted to get done. I like this picture. I think it's cool because it's pleasant in Mount New Jersey. So it goes with make every day pleasant, right? So that's kind of a little nerdy fun thing, but it's also cute. But you really want to be able to make your day how you plan it to be, even though we all know in reality, it just doesn't always go the way that we plan. These are some of the options that you can work in your task list in order to make it more palatable. All of them aren't going to work all the time. And as soon as you wrap your brain around that, you're going to be less catastrophic and more compassionate. One trick I've learned is that if I'm wearing my earbuds, or people assume that I'm in a Zoom call, or I might be working on something, I give myself that cushion, because people automatically ask me, can I talk to you right now? They walk into the office all the time. I don't have doors that I close myself into an office. I'm accessible to everybody all the time. So if they see the earbuds, they'll say, are you available? And I'll be like, give me a couple of minutes. Or sometimes they call me on the phone and I will let them know, hey, I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back in 5 minutes? So I'm giving myself that time cushion, and I'm giving them the understanding that I'm there for them on my time. And as long as they know that I'm going to call them back and I'm available, everybody feels good about it. So again, training your brain, resetting your brain, practicing concepts of mindfulness, which I do all the time with lots and lots of deep breaths in through the nose for a count of 5. And hold it. And then we exhale on that count of 5. You guys have seen me do this all the time, many times before. One of the most important aspects of mindfulness is to progress without self-judgment. It's to be able to bring your focused thoughts back to the activity that you are practicing. This is what mindful helps us to learn to do. Whether it's a mindful breathing or a quick body scan, our brains lose flexibility with age and tend to struggle with more distractions and loss of concentration. You're going to hear me say this a few times, so it hits home. We know more practice on thought focus, the better our brain becomes conditioned for concentration due to the strengthening of our neural pathways that are actually responsible for this process. Huge, huge thing. You can control how your brain grows. We haven't always been taught that, right? So an example of a brief body scan, I have one. If we have time somewhere here, we can go over that. But there's lots of guided options for body scans all over the internet, like on YouTube. You do not have to be a trained expert to use these tools to practice mindfulness. You don't need to sit across from a therapist to do this. You can do it on your own. The great news is that all of these skills are for anyone who desires to increase their daily productivity and to increase their positive mindset. Breathing, like we talked about, this process can really reduce mental wandering, avoiding distractions, improving task focus, decreasing restlessness to increase compassion for yourself and for others. When you focus on breath, you use a brain network for focused attention. When you notice a wandering thought, you use another brain network for detecting distraction. When you stop that wandering thought, you use a brain network to prevent your attention from following that thought. And when you return your attention back to the breath, you use a brain network for redirecting attention. That's why this is so important, because you are in control of training your brain to attend to your attention. So the point is that while we may lose flexibility in our thinking with age, with practice, we really can train our brains to increase cortical thickness, all that nice gray matter, our myelin sheaths, all of the stuff that helps us to be less reactive and more resilient to situations around us, as well as strengthen the hippocampus, which helps us to keep our plans. So challenging automatic thoughts, reframing those thoughts to something that you can do, paying attention to your attention, creating brain neuroplasticity changes, improving your working memory, and improving mood and perspective taking. That's really what this is all about. And I hope you take something away today to be able to organize and control your thoughts and your plans. Bits and pieces always fall out of place, but knowing where they fit back helps you to carry on and decrease those feelings of catastrophe while increasing compassion for yourself and compassion for others. So thank you so much for your time. I really do feel passionately about this topic. And so if you have any questions, totally reach out to me anytime and we can come up with a game plan around this. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jen, so much. And Larry had put in the chat, he said on that first picture, what was looked at was overgrown. It just reminded him, like, I didn't even know where to start, where to start at. And that's how we get, especially administrators, when you're coming in for the day, you have a whole checklist of things you're going to do. And you'll be lucky if you get one of those done, because there are so many unexpected interruptions. And I really like the piece, Jen, that you talked about, the reflection on how you handled a situation, coming back in there, that learning piece of, because we are as administrators so reactive a lot of times, because we have to be, but having that reflection piece of how can we do it a little bit different. And then that time cushion is really, it's okay to tell people, I'll be with you in just a second. So thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate you. And again, like I said, thank you for keeping me focused throughout the day.